Hello, everyone. So we're back again with Survivor South Africa, season 9, episode 10. And we just had, what is her name? Pinty. Pinty got voted out. Felix and Terizo got caught off guard because they were made promises by Tajon and Tony, who was supposed to work with them to get rid of Killarney. But obviously they go that way. And Pinty ended up being the one to go. So shocking, but so sweet. She was a little obnoxious and not good at the game at all. So she went home. Felix and Terizo, obviously a little upset. Well, more than a little upset. They feel like their game is a little bit over, but they're not really giving up. They're going to try some stuff. Terizo, not very physical, but she's very strategic. I would say she's a fatter version of Miriam, where Miriam is not very physical, but very strategic. All right, so next day, oh, what the hell is that? Okay, so next day, Tony told Tajon to get up early and go look for that idol that he still haven't found. So he goes, starts digging. See him digging there. He's digging in that one spot. He didn't search all around. He just dug in this one spot here. And he found it. He actually found it. It was buried way deeper than the other idol was. So maybe I gave him a little bit too much trash for it, because the other one wasn't buried that deep. But unfortunately, when he opened up the letter, unlike the one that Dante got, this one that he got says it's only valid until merge, and it's only useful for the other tribe. So he has to give it to someone on the other tribe to use it, and he can't use it himself. And like, God, that's got to be a kick in the nuts. And I think the reason he was so hard to find is because because Dante found his. And because Dante found his, they couldn't have too many idols in the game, and they went back and they probably changed his into that ridiculous thing. Production probably did that, and he kind of got screwed. He should have found his first, but he didn't. All right, so now Tony advised him to give it to Dino on the other tribe. Dino, the guy that fell asleep and fell into the fire, the guy that used an idol last time to save himself. And I thought that would have prompted Dante to use his idol, but it didn't. And Dino's partner, Phil, ended up voting for the wrong person. And yeah, so they weren't able to get rid of Dante because of that. So they decided to give it to Dino because Tony has a good relationship with Dino. She wants to work with him. And Tajon kind of agreed to that. So they decided that after the immunity challenge, he gave it to her because it'd be less suspicious because she's very huggy and she likes to hug people, and he doesn't really do that. So he gave it to her to like transfer it to Dino while pretending to give him a hug. So that was the plan. All right, so should be a little bit of sneaky going on. And then we get back to the red tribe, and Shane is deciding to make some moves. See Shane over here. Shane is very messy in this game. He's as messy as his body is weirdly shaped. He he decided to make some moves, so he's talking to Phil. Phil, who messed up and got the wrong person voted out and left himself in the majority, in the minority, I mean, because he voted out one of the people that could have been working with him. So Shane decides to talk to Phil, and he's telling Phil all this stuff about he wants to work together with him and Dino, and they can go far in this game and they can make some moves together because he doesn't trust Dante. And Shane is explaining all of this to him, being completely honest to him. And Phil says behind the scenes, Phil is talking about it, smiling about how he wants to get rid of Shane, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why he would do that. He's already in the minority. He can use Shane. So here's Phil talking about how Phil is acting like a mob boss because Shane was talking about how if he gets an opportunity, he would never let Phil get voted out, and he would help him out. So that kind of hurt his ego a little bit, and he says Shane is acting like a mob boss now, and he doesn't like that. So the first opportunity he gets, he's going to vote out Shane, and I'm like, dumb. Why? This guy's an idiot. He has a lot of plans, not a lot of execution. So Phil has a problem with Shane, and he wants to get rid of Shane. All right. So we get to the immunity challenge, and it was rather exciting. It starts with teams have to first cut a rope that's attached to a huge. Let's show you what it is. So this huge ball right here. So you see the rope is attached to it. It's like a paper mache type wrecking ball. It looks pretty heavy, but it's not made of metal. So they have to cut the rope on that, and it's a very thick rope, and the rope is locked down in sections. So they have to cut the first section, then the second, then the third, in order for the whole thing to fall. And that's the first part of the challenge. And it's for immunity and pizza, I believe, is the prize. All right, so they cut that, and then they have to hop a wall as a team. They have to hop a wall, get to the other side, and then pull the wrecking ball through an obstacle. It was like a net. Show you an image of it. All right, so they get you see the little logger over here. This is where they cut the rope first. They get the wrecking ball here. Then they have to push it through these obstacles. You can see the blue team is already ahead. The red team is all the way back here because they were slow in cutting the rope because I believe Dante couldn't cut a rope for some reason. It was weird. He was smacking the rope. They're using an axe to cut the rope, but he was smacking the rope, and his axe was just gliding off the rope because he doesn't know how to apply pressure downwards with a hacking weapon. He was beating it like it was a club. It was insane. So because of Dante, the blue tribe has a lead right here, and you can see that lead gets lost because of Terizo, because she's fat and she can't pull herself up the rope, and she was stuck there for a while. And the red team was able to catch up and get up the platform first, and then Tayshaun have to walk up here and get his head up below Terizo so she can stand on his shoulders to get up the obstacle. So eventually that tied up the teams a little bit. After they get off get up the obstacle, then they have to shimmy down a fireman pole right down there to the dirt. All right, shimmy down the pole, get to the other side. Then they have to pull the wrecking ball by the rope that it was attached to. They have to pull the wrecking ball up the obstacle that they just climbed over, up the obstacle to the other side. All right. And once they get the wrecking ball to the other side, there's still going to be a rope attached to the wrecking ball. They then have to get the rope and throw it over a wooden platform so that they can then hold the rope and swing the wrecking ball. All right, so I'll show you an image. All right, so the teams are going to be holding the rope here. This is the station. The rope is going to be held here, and this is there so they can like grip with they plant your foot there and pull the rope. And the wrecking ball is going to be here, but the rope is going to be on top of the platform there. And they're going to be pulling the rope to get the wrecking ball up. And then two people are going to be over here swinging the ball back and forth to build up momentum. And then when it builds up enough momentum and it swings this way, they have to let go. The people that are going to be guiding it is going to let the other guys know to let go. So then the ball can hit this platform over here with the plates on it, break it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 plates that they have to break in order to win. And I think after they break the plates, then they have to pull up their flag at the end there. All right, so that is the challenge, the immunity challenge, and it was actually pretty exciting to watch. The teams were neck and neck. The red team had a little bit more technique, where they were really aiming it just past the platform, so that when the ball falls, because it's not going to go very far, when it falls and it lands back down, it hits the plate a little bit better. The other team, they were missing the plates all the time, but they eventually start to catch up. After the red team got the 3, they were stuck on 1, and then the blue team started catching up. They start getting a feel for it. They start catching up, and then it came down to both were on 3 plates, and they were all going for the 1 plate. The red team miss, the blue team go, they miss, and then the red team go again. They hit the plate, and then they start celebrating. And then the blue team go again, miss their plate again. And the reason they were celebrating and the game wasn't over is because they forgot to get the flag. So they gave the blue team enough time to catch up, but they didn't hit the plate. And after they didn't hit the plate and the red team noticed that the blue team was still going, they run, pull their flag, and they were able to win. So the red team wins, and the red team is the team with Dino on it. So as Nika is announcing the winners as the red team, Tony says, "Can we get some hugs?" So she's pulling off her plan to go hug the red team. She goes up, she hugs Dino. She goes straight to Dino. She didn't hug any of the others on the team. Goes to Dino, hugs him once, talks to him, and then hands the idol right in the middle of them. And there's a lot of people around Dino, a lot of people that are taller than Dino as well, that can see directly in between Dino and her, because they're not, she decided to hand him the idol chest height where it's visible, instead of down, a little bit lower where people couldn't see it. So 2 people saw it. Felix saw it. Felix, who was on the blue tribe, he saw Tony passing the idol. And Palizo on the red tribe, she saw the idol. And I remember she wanted to work with Dino before, but then she stopped wanting to work with him after Phil messed up their voting, because she wanted to get rid of Dante. So, and then because she voted Dino, knowing that Dino had the idol, because Dino told her he had the idol. She voted Dino. Because she voted Dino, Dante then trusted her, and Dante wanted to make her his number 1. So she's playing both sides of Phil and Dino and Dante at the same time. But now that she saw that idol play, we don't know what's going to happen there. And then we got Phil on the other side, who just saw the idol passing. And Tony only knew that Felix saw her pass the idol. She didn't know about Palizo seeing it. All right. So they pass the idol. The red team go and they go get their pizza and they go eat their pizza. They eat their pizza, and back on the blue tribe, Tony got a little bit nervous because Felix saw her pass the idol. So she decided to go to Steffi and tell Steffi about the idol behind Tajon's back. She told Steffi not to tell Tajon about it. And her plan was to tell Steffi so that Steffi trusts her. And she wants to tell Steffi before Felix gets to Steffi. So she tell her about the idol and the fact that they gave it to Dino. And she says, oh, now Dino owes me one and owes us, and we can use that. And then after she does that, I believe then she goes to Felix and lets him know that she saw that she found an idol and she gave it to Dino, knowing that Felix and Dino is working together. So she's trying to use that to say, I'm trusting you. This is my trusting you. And behind the scenes, Felix was like, you trusting me after I already saw you pass it? And you just, it was ridiculous. And Dino was excited because he has an idol now, and they're having pizza and they're having drinks and they're enjoying their time. He tells the tribe that when Tony hugged him, I think he said she told him that Kehlani flipped and now therefore is now in charge of the tribe, which is technically true, but I don't remember her telling him that. She probably told him that while passing the idol. But Palizo saw the idol, and as soon as the red tribe, they ate their food and they go back and they separated, and Dino separated, Palizo tells her tribe, which is Dante, Miriam, Meryl, and Shane. She tells them that she saw the idol pass, and now they want to get rid of Dino immediately. As soon as they saw that, they want to get rid of Dino. And because they wanted to keep Dino before and get rid of Dante, but now they want to get rid of Dino. So Shane walks away while she's explaining this to the rest of the tribe. He walks away and he goes and finds Dino and tells Dino everything. He tells Dino that they know he passed something and that he wants to work with Dino, and Dino shouldn't trust Palizo, and all this stuff. And Dino listens and he pulls a Phil and he says, I don't trust Shane. He says, I don't believe anything Shane is telling me. And Dino goes and tells Palizo that Shane told him everything. So, but he doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe any of it. But when he tells Palizo what Shane told him, which is her knowing about the island, they wanted to vote him out, she was like, that guy. So behind the scenes, she says Shane is trying to play double agent, but why would he play double agent by telling the other side the truth? And I'm just like, obviously he's not playing double agent. Why would you think he's playing double agent? He's just an idiot and he trusted the wrong people. It was exciting, but it was a lot of incompetence from Shane and his goofy ass walking around. The man is just built different. Like, look at him. Lanky, tall dude. His body's weirdly refrigerator shaped in the middle there. As goofy as he is, so is his gameplay, and it just wasn't working. The people that he's trying to trust doesn't trust him, and probably because he didn't talk game with them before this moment, and now he's revealing secrets to them all of a sudden. It just so we're back on the blue tribe, and they're trying to decide who to vote off because they lost the immunity challenge. So it was decided by Tony, Steffi, and Tajon that they're going to split the votes because there's there's 6 people in the tribe, 4 of them aligned, and the other 2 is not. So they can split the vote 2-2 on each person, and each person only has 2 votes. So it'll just cancel each other out and they'll revote and they can put the vote on whoever they want in case someone has an idol. So between the three of them, they've planned all of this. They didn't tell Kehlani anything, and they they decided that the person they're going to get rid of is Teresa, because she kind of cost them the challenge a little bit, because her physicality is trash. So they decide to keep Felix because Felix is pretty strong, and even in the rope cutting, he freaking blitzed Dante. So they're going to keep Felix as a workhorse. But neither Felix or Teresa trust either of them, and so Tony decides to talk to Steffi, and together they decided that they can trust Kehlani more because Kehlani is very straightforward. And they were worried that she's a goat. A goat meaning that's a person that pretty much gets carried all the way through the game, and they'll never get voted off. So they'll vote off all those other threats before they vote her off, which can be dangerous to keep along in the game. But also, she's a safe choice to keep. So Tony decides that if they're going to keep her, they should let her know, let her in on the votes, on where the votes are going to go, because they didn't tell her anything. So they decide to pull her aside and tell her what the votes are going to do, where they're going to split the votes and all this. And then on the other side, Tajon is talking to Teresa and Felix, and he's saying he wants to work with them. He wants to work with them and Dino, so they can be, was it a foursome? Him, Dino, Teresa, and Felix can go pretty far in the game, and that's what he's discussing with them. And so he's leaning towards keeping Teresa because Teresa is pretty strategic, which is good. Kehlani is pretty useless. She's not great physically. She's better than Teresa, but she's not great physically, and she's not very smart in this game. And she can get carried, so you don't want to keep her around. So he wants to keep Teresa around because Teresa is strategic, which is something that he lacks. Good thinking. I'm thinking freaking Tajon is finally making big moves. He's finally doing some great stuff. Let's see what's gonna go on with it. He wants to work with Felix and Teresa, and I think that's a good plan that he can enact because he knows they're splitting the votes. So he only needs those two people to vote with him, and they can get rid of Kehlani. And now he has the majority now. You know what I mean? He has the majority, and he can just throw the next challenge. He can throw the next challenge and get rid of his people. And then when they merge up, he can have Dino and the other guy, and they can, they can start working together. It seems like a good plan. It sounds like a good strategic plan. And Tony would still probably work with him because she wants to work with Dino. So if he gets rid of Kehlani, she'll still come on side, and he would have that number anyways. And he have that move under his belt where he can point to it where that's a big shift in the game and say that's why I should win at the end. So, that's just how I'm looking at it. So he decides to go to Tony and let her know he's leaning towards Teresa, but Tony's like, I don't know about that. Kehlani is a safer choice. So he's like, all right, you know what I mean? So he goes back to Teresa and Felix, and he lets them know that the votes are going to be split. And they're like, okay, so if the votes are split, then our 3 votes, we can still vote out Kehlani. And he was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm like, looking at him, and I'm like, that's not convincing at all. He's not convincing them. That doesn't seem convincing because he's in the middle, and he's trying to decide whether or not he wants to stay with the safe option of those girls kind of, voting with them, or should he make a move now? And I'm thinking he should definitely make a move because the girls are kind of running the game in this season. They're definitely killing the game. Like, no one is targeting them. They're making strategic moves all the time. They're kind of running the game. it's better for him to go the, but we'll see what he does. Uh, so Dino wants to get rid of freaking Shane, and I think it could be a good move. It could work out for Dino. If they lose, he might not. Even if he ends up using his idol, Shane probably goes home. You know, so we'll see how that goes. Uh, so go back to the blue, and yeah, let's just skip all the way to tribal, because I think most of their strategy was already done at that point. We go to tribal, and they're talking. They're pretty much stating the fact that there's a 4-person alliance, and Terizo and Felix are pretty much on the outs. And before they got to tribal, Terizo was thinking, now that Taejon let slip how the votes are going to go, she's thinking all she has to do to save herself is vote out Felix. Because this is all she does, because neither one of them trust Taejon at that point, because he wasn't very convincing. So instead of trusting him to vote with them 3, they could just vote for each other. Because Felix was planning to stay with the plan and vote for Kehlani. All she had to do was vote for Felix, and she's safe. But if Felix votes for her as well, then it becomes a draw again, and then she goes home, because Taejon already told her that she's the one that's going to go if they tie up the votes. So she only has one choice to save herself. Have Felix vote Kehlani, and she votes out Felix. So they talk, bunch of nonsense. Then they go to the votes. First vote, Felix. I believe the second vote was also Felix. And then after that, the third vote was Terizo. And the fourth was Kehlani. And then Kehlani again. And then Terizo. So it tied, 3-way tie between Kehlani, Terizo, and Felix. And it was a revote, and only 3 people could vote, being Tony, Steffi, and Taejon, and they all voted out Terizo. Sad. You know what I mean? I was starting to like her. She's a quick thinker, and I love that. Felix is all right. You know what I mean? He's all right. He's strong, and he's a little strategic as well. But she could have saved herself. She didn't do it. She didn't want to get rid of her friend Felix, and it's sad. But it's better for challenges for her team. And she wouldn't have gotten far if she did get rid of Felix. She should have just been next, because they would have lost the challenge, and she would have been next. So that's how the cookie crumbles. And until next time, see you.